In this video recording, I'm going to review graphing a system of quadratic inequalities. Now, what would be important probably before you watch this video is make sure you look at the video of graphing a single quadratic inequality and not just look at this one about systems. So what we're going to do is we're going to graph the first system or first equation in the system all by itself, and then we're going to graph the second one all by itself. So starting with the first one, I want to plug in y equals negative x squared plus 4x minus 4 into my graphing calculator. So I did that by going to y equals, plugging it all in. I'm going to hit graph, and my graph will show up. Now the next step is to transfer all of these data points to my paper. So I'm going to do that by looking at the table, at second table. So again, each of these pairs of points is a point on my graph. So for example, I have 1, negative 1 as one of my points. So I'm going to transfer all of these points onto my graph so I get the nice shape of the quadratic. So 2, 0, 3, negative 1, 0, negative 4. The next piece that's important is I would like to know if this is going to be a solid or a dashed line. Again, the less than and greater than inequalities, that's going to give you a dashed quadratic, where the less than and equal to and greater than equal to are going to give you the solid line. So in this one, I'm going to have the solid line. Next thing I need to do is I need to test a point. So I'm going to test 0, 0, which right now is on the outside of my graph. So I'm going to test 0, 0. I'm going to test that by plugging it into my inequality. So I'm going to have 0 is less than or equal to. I'm going to simplify this. So I'm going to have 0 is less than or equal to 0 plus 0 minus 4. So I'm going to end up with 0 is less than or equal to negative 4. Now that statement is false. So I tested the point 0, 0. If it was true, I would shade on the side with 0, 0. Since it's false, I'm going to shade on the opposite side, which happens to be the inside. Next, I'm going to graph my second equation, my second inequality in the system. So I'm going to have to go back and type in y equals x squared plus 2x minus 8. I'm going to take that, graph it, and I'm going to very quickly do this, but I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do second table and transfer all these data points onto my graph. So you can kind of see the shape there. I kind of ignore my first inequality in this system. So you see it kind of makes a quadratic shape there. Looking at the inequality, I know I need a dashed line. Next step is I need to figure out where the shading is at. So I'm going to test 0, 0 again. So looking at my blue inequality, the second one, 0, 0 is on the inside. So I'm going to test 0, 0. 0. when you simplify this, you're going to get 0 is less than -8. Again, this is false. So 0, 0 was on the inside of my parabola, but because it is false, I'm going to shade on the outside. So I got all of this area on the outside. Now, so you might be wondering, how does this system work? What is the solution? So you might not see it on the video, but I used red for the shading of my first system, and I used blue on the shading of my the first inequality in the system. I used blue for the shading of the second system, or second inequality in the system. What is the solution here is you're looking for where do both shaded regions overlap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken in the area where both shades overlap. Where they overlap is your solution. So in this case, it's this piece right here. If you notice they don't overlap, you're going to have no solutions. That is graphing a system of quadratic inequalities.